Hi everybody, this is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy. Welcome to lesson number 78. In this lesson we will introduce the student to a new vowel team, EY. Let's begin by setting up the table. You'll need your top 160 sight word list, the sight word study method instruction sheet, the student's sight word card pack, some blank cards, a highlighter markers, and some pencils. For the phonemic awareness drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheet and the colored tiles for the student. For the visual drill and auditory drill, you'll need the teacher instruction sheets and the card pack for the student. For the blending drill today, you can have this one all ready to go on the table, and the word list is provided in your lesson plan. I like to start at the back, so I'll put the last word on the table first, and then I'll just build up backwards, and I find that's an easier way to do it. Then we'll have the magnetic letter tile drills for reading and spelling. You'll need the instruction sheets and the cookie sheet with the letters spread in a rainbow shape for the student. You'll need the scooping syllables worksheet, the new phoneme grapheme kinesthetic discovery sheet, and the sheets for the lesson. We'll be using some of the same stuff we used in lesson 73 here. The ALE and AIL sort was provided in lesson 73. And so is this one, the EE and EA. You can find that in lesson 77 resources as well. In addition to all of that, you might have a timer on the table, and you'll need this if you've introduced the fluency element, which by now you probably have. And this has to be done with a secondary program, such as Read Naturally or the 6-minute reading solution. Let's begin with the sight word study method. Student, can you take out your sight word card pack? And what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to read through all of the words in your card pack. When you read a word correctly, you'll put a check mark in the corner of the card. When you finish, you hand your card pack to your teacher, and then it's your teacher's turn to read. Your teacher reads through each card while you write each word down. When you write a word correctly, then in the other corner of the card, you'll put a check mark. Teacher, you're ready with blocking strategies in case the student encounters difficulties. And when you're finished, you can have a quick discussion with the student about which of those words has been mastered. Mastered words are removed from the card pack. This leaves space so that you can introduce a new sight word. Let's do the phonemic awareness drill. In today's drill, we won't be using our colored tiles. Instead, we'll use 2 hand gestures. In this drill, you're going to listen for short vowel sounds and long ones. You can make some kind of gesture for the short ones. I'm going to do this one. Yesterday we said you'd have your hands in your laps. Or for the long sound, maybe I'll do this, that indicates a great length. So long sound, short sound. And maybe you could, I think yesterday we had you touching your earlobe for long. So right now you can decide, student, what would you like to do as a gesture for your long sound? And what would you like to do as a gesture for the short sound? I'll say a word, and then you repeat the word and make the gesture for are you listening and hearing the long sound of a vowel or the short sound. Here we go. Your word is key. Can you repeat that word? I might say I put the key in the lock. What kind of vowel sound are you hearing there? Do you hear a long vowel sound or a short one? Make your gesture right now. Okay, that was a long one. Key. I hear the E sound in there. So when a vowel says its name, that's a long sound. So the ones you're listening for are A, E, I, O, U. Okay, here's your next word. Pet. Long or short? Can you repeat that word? That was a short. I hear the E sound of Eddie. Okay, ready for this one? Teg. Can you repeat that? Not a real word. Is it long or short? Teg. I hear the E of Eddie again, so that's a short one. So in my gesture, I would do that one. Okay, how about this one? Seat. Can you repeat that word? I went into the movie theater and took a seat. Well, for my gesture, I would do long for that one because I heard long. Okay, how about this one? Ray. Long or short? I would do long for that one. I hear the A sound, so the A is saying its name. And feet. Can you repeat that word? I touched my feet. I would do long because I hear the long E. E of feet. Okay, great job. Let's move on. Let's do the visual drill. Student, you're going to need your card pack for this one. What sound does this one make? Did you say A? If you did, that's correct. Teacher, do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. Let's do the auditory drill. Student, you'll need the same card pack that you used for the visual drill. Your sound is D. Can you repeat that sound? Now, what symbols go with D? Write down any symbols you know that make that sound D. Okay, as you're doing it, say the sound. And then when you finish, underline the symbol and say the sound again. All right, did you say D can make the D sound as in dog? Or ED? I wonder how many of you out there remembered that ED can make the D sound. When we put this suffix onto a different base, we can make the base be in the past. We could say ED can sound like id, ed, d, or t. I rammed the car. That's when it would sound like d. Yeah, okay, great work. Teacher, you can do about 6 to 8 flashcards in this way and then come back to me. Time for the blending drill. Now, if the teacher has this one ready to go on the table, then you can just stop me here and you can do it together and then just fast forward and catch me at the next part of the lesson. And if not, then just continue playing the video and we'll do the blending drill together. This is where you tap it and say it, and then the teacher moves the card. Let's do some syllable pounding. This is where I say a word, fee, and I say, can you repeat that word? Okay, and now I'm wondering how many syllables are in the word fee. You can either put your hand under your chin and say it, fee, and then count how many times your chin hits your hand when you do that, and that because the vowel sounds cause the jaw to drop. Or you could stretch out your hand and say the word, and as you hear the syllables, you can just count them by pounding it out this way, and then count your syllables. So, fee, how many? I hear one in that. I just hear the E sound, the long E sound. How about this word? Teenage. Can you repeat that word? He was a teenage boy. How many syllables in teenage? Teenage. I hear 2. How about this one? Uninhabited. How many? Uninhabited. 4 in that one, I hear. Okay, here's your last one. Piloting. Can you repeat that word? He was piloting the plane. How many? Piloting. I hear 3 in that one. Okay, great work. It's time to move on to your syllable scooping worksheet. And be sure to talk through your thinking as you're working through the different words. And teacher, you've got the answer key ready, and with an eye on the time, you can decide how many words will get completed from the sheet. Let's review how to add suffixes, endings, to the end of different types of bases, to close syllables, open syllables, and vowel, consonant, silent E. Can you pull out your worksheet? And your teacher's got an eye on the time, so you won't fill out the whole worksheet, but your teacher will tell you how many words you have time to do. And do that worksheet and then come back to me. We've been talking about vowel teams. Student, can you take out your rule card for Vowel Teams so you have that on hand? And in the last lesson, we were talking about the difference between these words that sound exactly the same but mean something different and are spelled differently. And we call those homophones. And we have the ALE family of words: pale, male, whale, sail, ale. And some of all those words have a vowel team that sounds exactly the same, but the word is spelled with AIL, and there's a different meaning of the word. Student, we have a little story to remember all the ALE family words. Can you tell your teacher that story? You learned about it yesterday when we showed you the cartoon. Tell your teacher now. Okay, I hope you told the story about the pale male whale who got ale on sale. And we're going to practice. We're going to work on this so we can master the different sound spellings for the ALE words and the AIL words, because we want to have an understanding of the meaning of the word and attach it to the right spelling. So to do this, we have this little drill that we did in lesson 73. We'll use the exact same cards. So teacher, you just pick a card and you'll say the meaning. So it could be, you might say pale. This means something that is light color. And then the student, you think is that an ALE or AIL spelling. And you can make your guess and put it face down under the correct heading. Is it AIL or ALE? And then flip it over and find out if you're correct. We're going to review the vowel teams that make the long E sound that we've learned about so far. That would be EE and EA. This will use the same cards that we used in lesson 77, but we're going to use them in a slightly different way. We're going to make a story. The teacher, maybe I would do the first one, so I would tap and say it, read. And then I'd say, there was a fish who was swimming in the reeds at the edge of a pond. And now, student, you pick up the story with this one. So tap it and say it. B-E-T. The fish that was in the reeds at the edge of the pond heard a beating sound not too far away. Now it's the teacher's turn again. P-E-K. Peek. The fish decided to peek out of the reeds to see what was making this strange sound. And that's how it works. So the story just goes from one person to the other, and it can be as crazy as you want. So have some fun with it. When we began learning about vowel teams, the first thing we learned about was the vowel teams that make the long A sound. We learned that AI is a vowel team, and AI is often found in the middle of a word. It could be in the beginning or middle of the word. So can you tap and say this word? What would it be? That word is main. When we hear the long A sound at the end of the word, then we're going to use a different vowel team. It'll be the AY vowel team. So now can you tap and say this word? That's A, may. I may go to the movies today. We're going to learn about a new vowel team today. And this is going to be a third vowel team that makes the E sound. So let's review the different E sounds that we know that are vowel teams. The first one that we learned about was the most common long E sound for a vowel team. So that was this one, the EE. So can you tap and say that word? Did you tell me that was meet? I will meet you for dinner. If you did, that's correct. There's another vowel team that comes in to show a different meaning of a word that has this exact same sound. So tap and say this word. That word is also said meat, but it has a different meaning. What's the meaning of this one? This is meat as in animal. So when I eat a hamburger, I'm eating meat. Okay, and then we're going to learn about a third way to make this long E sound when we're using a vowel team. And this is when we hear the E sound at the end. So we have EE and EA that are commonly found in the middle of words. And then if I want to make that sound at the end, Isn't it interesting? Just like when we're making the A sound, we had, I'm going to just put it on my bigger board here so it looks a little easier for you because I see there's a glare. Okay, there we go. Let's do that because then you can see it more clearly. So when I want the E sound at the end of a word, look at, just like with the A, we had AY. Now we're going to have EY to do that job of making the vowel team at the end of the word. So tap and say this word. What is it? K, E, key. There you go. So now you've got 3 different vowel teams to make that E sound. We've got EE, EA, and EY. And we know when EY is going to come in because if we hear that E at the end of a word and we need a vowel team, it'll be EY that does that job. Practice moving through the different syllable types. So can you tap and say this word and tell your teacher what type of syllable this one is? Did you say this word is kid and it's a closed syllable? If you did, you're right, and kid is another word for child. And if I take the consonant away from the end, I no longer have a closed syllable. So tap it and say it, and tell your teacher what type of syllable this one is. Did you say that this is kai, and it is an open syllable? If you did, that's right. Okay, now let's say I wanted to have that consonant on the end. I want to put a consonant on the end, but I want the I to say its name. Then I need a new syllable type. So tap and say this word, and tell your teacher what syllable type this one is. Did you say this word is kite and it's a vowel consonant silent E? If you did, that's right. Now let's move into vowel teams, which are another way to force the vowels to say their name. And so, these are going to be nonsense words, but that's okay. So can you read this one and then tell your teacher what type of syllable that is? You would read this word as keet, and it's a vowel team. 2 vowels go walking. The first one does the talking. Here's another way to use a vowel team to make that same sound. Tap and say that word. Okay, and now we've learned about a third vowel team, and this is one that you're going to use on the end of words. See how it's on the end of the word? So tap and say that one. That word is key. I put the key into the lock. And EY is the combo that we're really looking at today. Let's practice working with EY and this idea of vowel teams, where if you hear the E sound in the middle of a word, then you'll be thinking, is it EE or EA? And if you hear it at the end of the word, you'll know it's EY. So grab your magnetic letter tile board and let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for reading. Your sound is Can you repeat that sound? Okay, now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is E. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is T. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it. Did you say that this word was meat? If you did, that's right. Now the question is, which type of meat are we talking about? So if I said, this is the type of meat where I will meet you for dinner, how would that affect your spelling? Make any changes that you might have to make. So if I was calling a meeting, I will meet you after dinner, then I would spell that EE. So I would spell it M-E-E-T. Okay, great job. Put your tiles away and get ready for a new word. Your sound is K. Can you repeat that sound? Now find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Your sound is E. And that's the last sound in the word. Find the correct tile or tiles and pull them to the middle. Okay, now tap it and say it. Did you say this word is key? Now if I hear the K and the E, and I know the E is at the very end of the word, and I'm using a vowel team here, I'm going to spell it E-Y, so that word is K-E-Y. Okay, great work. You can put those tiles away. Teacher, if you have time to do more words in this way, then please do so. You can move on to the single word list, and then the short story. And then if you've introduced the fluency element, that's where you'll put it. Let's do the magnetic letter tile drill for spelling. You'll need your cookie sheet with your letters spread in a rainbow shape for this one. Your word is sale. And I'll put it in a sentence for you. I found a wonderful shirt on sale. It was a great price. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in sale? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in sale? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in sale? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Now tap it and say it, and think about anything that you need to change or add. Did you spell this one S-A-L-E? If you did, that's right. I would think back to my pale male whale story and remember that he bought the ginger ale on sale. And I'm thinking, oh, that's the kind of sale. And all those words are A-L-E words. So that'll help me. Okay, if I wanted to spell this word sail as in a sailboat, how would I do it then? Make the changes that you need right now. Did you spell this word S-A-I-L? If you did, that's right. Okay, put your tiles away and get ready for your next word. Okay, your word is reed. The fish was swimming in the reeds. Reed. Okay, what's the first sound that you hear in reed? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. What's the next sound that you hear in reed? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. And what's the last sound that you hear in reed? Find the correct tile and pull it to the middle. Tap it and say it. Did you spell this one R-E-E-D? If you did, that's right. And the other kind of read would be R-E-A-D, which is read a book. So they have different meanings. Okay, teacher, if there's time, you could do more words in this way. And if not, then we'll just go right on to the single word writing. So student, you'll take out a pencil and some line paper. What I'd like you to do is repeat the word. So your word is peak. Can you repeat that word? Okay. And this type of peak is, I will climb to the mountain peak. Okay. Tap out the sounds that you hear in peak. Say the whole word and then write it down. Did you spell this word P-E-A-K? If you did, that's right. Let's try this one. Key. I will put the key in the lock. Okay, tap it and say it and write it down. Did you write this one K-E-Y? If you did, that's right. When you hear that E sound at the end of the word, the vowel team that you're going to choose is the E-Y one. Okay, here's a different one. Alley. Can you repeat that word? Now try and put that word into syllables before you try and tap it out. Alley. So what do you hear in the first syllable? And then say it, write it down, and then do the second syllable. Okay, did you spell this A-L-L-E-Y? If you did, that's right. Teacher, it is time to do sentences. So you can read the 3 sentences to the student, and the student will choose the 2 that will be written. Student, after you write a sentence, make sure you check your work with CHOPS. We've been learning about vowel teams, and we've been focusing on the vowel teams that make the long E sound. The tricky thing about some of these vowel teams is that there are words that sound exactly the same, but they're either spelled with EE or EA. So we have to learn the different meanings of these words. Student, tap and say this word first, and then tell me the meaning of that word. And if it's difficult, you could just put the word in a sentence. Did you say that word is feet? And when you accomplish something, you can call it a feat. So a great feat that I accomplished was I climbed the mountain. Okay. And then what's the meaning if I use this different vowel team? So it's going to sound exactly the same. It says feet, but it has a different meaning. Tell your teacher. So what we've learned is that EA and EE are going to be found in the middle of words, sometimes at the beginning. It's, there are situations where you'd have E at the end, but these are just general rules. But if I wanted to know what to write at the end of a word, most often it would be spelled with EY. So can you tap and say that word? That would be knee, and that would be not a word on its own, but part of chimney, so it's the second syllable of chimney. So we've learned 3 different vowel teams to make the same sound, EE, EA, and EY. That is the end of lesson 78. Great job today. This is Shawna Odette from the Flying Cat Academy.